Hello, welcome to Manchester, New Hampshire, and welcome to America's Credit Union Museum. My name is Stephanie Smith, and I'm the Executive Director here at America's Credit Union Museum. In 1908, mill workers from the west side of Manchester worked in the mills in downtown Manchester and didn't have access to appropriate banking institutions. The parish priest next door, Monsignor Heavey, recognized that there was a need for his parishioners to have access to secure financial solutions. He partnered with attorney Joseph Boivin and Desjardins from Canada to create the first credit union here in Manchester, New Hampshire. The first credit union, Le Caisse Populaire, opened its doors in November of 1908. The original charter for St. Mary's Bank was signed in April of 1909. It was here in this space in 1908 the first credit union was started. Monsignor Pierre Heavey, pastor of St. Marie's Church, had seen cooperatives in his travels and felt that they would be a viable solution for his parishioners, most of whom had emigrated from Canada, seeking a better life for themselves and their families. Although they had their own stores and church, there was no financial institution located on this side of the river, the west side, which was also known as Little Canada at the time. There was no place where they could save their money and access loans at a reasonable rate. The banks, which were located in downtown Manchester, catered to the mill owners and had no interest in doing business with the mill workers. Most of the mill workers spoke only French, which created a language barrier and an issue of trust with the banks that only spoke English. The credit union was housed in this building for the first 5 years, and America's Credit Union Museum is the national museum for the credit union movement. It is amazing to see that what began as an alternative to other financial institutions for a small group of people has evolved into an industry that is now approximately 6,000 credit unions and over 100 million members strong. One of the museum's missions is to not only preserve early credit union history, but to also chronicle the history as credit unions continue to write it in the years to come. This exhibit speaks to the need to create financial institutions during the Great Depression. In 1931, over 1,000 banks folded up and closed their doors. During that same time, credit unions, which started with 1,000 credit unions, tripled their existence. 5 years later, there were more than 3 times as many credit unions. Much of this is attributed to Ed Filene, who is considered the father of credit unions. Not only did he start credit unions, but he helped the movement move from Manchester, New Hampshire, and New England across the country. The figures of Ed Filene and Roy Bergegren are life-size. Mr. Filene may not have been a man of tall stature, but he was a powerful advocate for the average working man. He believed so strongly that credit unions were a viable solution for the average working man that he invested $1 million of his own money for the expansion of credit unions across the country. In June of 1934, Franklin Roosevelt signed Senate Bill 1639, which enabled the creation of credit unions in every state in the country. There, 2 months later, delegates from every state came together in Estes Park, Colorado, to write the Constitution for what would become the Credit Union National Association, or CUNA. Credit unions also have a global presence. In 1954, it was Roy Bergegren's vision to create a global presence for credit unions across the world. Out of that desire, CUNA has created the World Council of Credit Unions. World Council of Credit Unions helps to bring the credit union movement to other countries, to establish financial options for citizens, as well as helping to rebuild after natural disasters. Thank you for visiting us here at America's Credit Union Museum today. We welcome you to stop by our museum in Manchester, New Hampshire to learn more about the credit union movement across the United States. You may also visit us online at www.acummuseum.org.